Now look, don't be making no darn mess, yes sir. The tiny brush? Look, let's dial it in. You think these things are camo? You think they got a little bit of orange on their back? Just like this, watch. Look at that. Dial that in right there. That's not what I said. Yeah, that's right. Now, yep, mix them all. Yep, good. All right, now send it. Full send. Attaboy. Give me a kiss. Can I have a kiss? I love you. I grew up in Maryland, and then I came to play college baseball here at the university, and my high school baseball coach, he told me, he said, you know, go somewhere you're gonna like in case you get hurt. I fell in love with the beauty of the mountains. I fell in love with just the natural resources. I mean, we've got rivers, we've got lakes, we've got woods. I ended up getting hurt my sophomore year in college, and didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, I obviously had this passion for fishing. So I started a lake fishing guide service as a sophomore in college. In that first year, I booked 150 trips. Next biggest expense was tackle, and there was no good tackle shop. I was buying everything online, and it was taking forever. So, you know, I was like, I'm gonna start a tackle shop. So then we started tackle shops, then we had a guide business and a tackle shop. Then I started doing a YouTube channel, creating content to kind of drive traffic to both the tackle shop and the guide business. And yeah, my fishing career really began in these mountains. Highland reservoir fishing to me is like nostalgia, because I would grow up going to these mountainous reservoirs with really clean, clear water, you know, just the beauty, the peace, the crisp, cool mountain air in the morning. I mean, all those things, just like, those are like what I think about when I think about my childhood. So when I started my guide business here, I'm like, holy cow, all of my lakes remind me of my childhood. And it just brought me back to those first moments of catching fish on the dock with Dad, and catching fish with my uncle, and catching fish with my grandpa, and I'm like, man, that is the same kind of experience that I want to give people, man. I mean, everybody aspires to have some kind of dream catch, and that's my desire. I want to help people reel in their dream catch, and you know, what better place to do it than a place like the mountains? You know, what just a dream place to be in and make a memory.
Well, there's just not a lot of places when you're in the city that, you know, allow you to get out in the outdoors and, you know, not to deal with any of it, the traffic, the social, the people, or anything. So this is 45 minutes from the city, and you can totally escape and be totally outdoors. Your dog can run wild. Come here, Bo. And we'll come down here with the family a lot too. Set up lunch, grill out. There's a pool, hang by the pool all day, fish all day, and just get out of it all and disappear.
Yeah, this little guy right here, smallest of them all. In the 2020 All-American Championship, it was the second day, it was a 3-day tournament. The second day of the tournament was probably the toughest day of the tournament. And I had one fish in the box, and it was really, really tough. And I picked up this little guy right here and caught my biggest, filled out my limit, took over first place, never looked back. It's a special one right there. Just last open that I threw in there, I had a big old smallmouth come up and help me find them, but they weren't eating the bait, and ended up grabbing a jig and losing 2 of the biggest smallmouth in the lake. And that would have put me closer to Bassmaster Classic berth, but wasn't meant to be. But I mean, that was 3 tournaments ago. This sport is brutal, man. Like, just 3 tournaments ago, I made enough decisions to give myself a shot at the Bassmaster Classic, come in with a top 10, doing everything right, and you're still battling thoughts of, oh, why am I doing this? It's brutal.
Just the day in and day out trying to figure out the fish, it's like a puzzle that you can never actually solve. And even when you think you solve it, then the puzzle changes on you. So it draws my spirit into like this desire of just knowing, and it stirs up this fire in my belly to just continue to learn. I don't even love fishing. I'm just addicted to it. Like, I'm addicted to trying to figure out the fish. I'm addicted to why certain weather patterns change fish behavior. I'm addicted to why fish do certain things here. It's amazing, and it just draws me back day in, day out, whether I'm guiding, fun fishing, tournament fishing, whatever it is. It's like never a dull moment. Yeah, there's one right there. Here he is. Yep. Oh, nope, now he's not. It hit the water, he got real pumped up, but then he just kind of
There is a lifetime of information out there it can take you to learn and to study, to try and figure out all these different species. And if you have a job and you have kids, you don't have all the time in the world to do nothing but homework and study and research. And I mean, you got to think, these guides are like, they're almost like magicians that can conjure up these beasts from underneath the water that you can't even see, right? I mean, how would you possibly know how to do that without dozens and hundreds of hours of homework and research and fishing and experience and walking into the fly shop and discussing gear and which rod connects with which line and which line should I use and which leader and which reel? I mean, it goes on and on and on, but you go at that guide and he's like, here's your rod, here's your lure, I'm gonna point at you where to go and we're gonna get fishing. And that matters, and that's really valuable information.
Fishing in general is all about learning. Whether you're just getting into it or you're a seasoned veteran, the situation is always unique.
It's never ending. It's constant, and lures change and technology advances, and the seasons are constantly changing. So as soon as you figure out the bite this 2 weeks, the next time you come back, it's totally changed.
There's always that puzzle, whether it's easy to figure out one day or the hardest thing in the world. And on those hard days, on those hard weeks, when you uncover it, it's like finding gold. And it is so satisfying. I know how it feels to go out onto a body of water, even with some general information in hand. And because I missed one clue, I come back with 1 fish or 0 to show for it.
1 fish in the bag, a good one. 3 pounds even, 3 pounds even.
But fishing is the hardest sport in the world. I mean, just in general, you're chasing around an animal that does not go by a book. There's not a set course that it's going to be on. And quite frankly, they don't bite every day. Or it's not easy. Or you have some random hatch where they go from doing the same thing for 13 days in a row, and then it's like a light switch shut off. Until you find the magic button.
Obviously, as a guide, I'm on the water 300 days a year, and even when I'm not guiding, I'm constantly just trying to stay dialed in, stay up to date with baits, and see how the fish are reacting. And every day is something new that I can learn and pick up and apply the next day.
With that girthy one, baby. Let's go. Oh, yeah.
When I first started coming to these lakes, I didn't know what to do, and I can empathize with people who show up to a body of water for the first time or show up to a lake maybe that they're familiar with but they haven't been to in 3 or 4 months, and they don't even know where to start. It can be intimidating, you can lack confidence, and the reality is if you just get a fish tip, man, it can just give you that boost of confidence and send you in the right direction to having an awesome day on the water.
All right, you see how that point runs off that land like that? It'll keep running off it all the way into the water, and it's probably creating a shape like this where the fish will hold up on either side of that point. So I take a few different guided trips every year, and I always keep up with the guide's information. And then when you're back in their area, hopefully you can book them, but a lot of times they're booked and you can't. And a lot of times it's not like the opportunity to book a full trip, a full guided trip. You're just like, man, I got 2 hours to kill or something like that. Where do I go and what do I throw? It's the same little text every time.
As a fishing guide, someone with a YouTube channel, a tackle shop, I get bombarded with people desiring advice, when they're going fishing. Hey, I'm going fishing here. I've never been to the lake. What do you use? Or I've got a tournament coming up here. There's people who want advice, good advice from knowledgeable fishermen. And at the same time, there's knowledgeable fishermen that can help these people maximize their time on the water. I remember the day. I had been fishing with a guide 2-3 weeks prior. He knew what was going on. I hit him up the night before I was going out with my daughter, and I said, hey, where do I go and what do I throw? I'm taking my 10-year-old daughter out tomorrow. And I sent him $50. I said, just tell me what to do. And he said, man, this is great. I love this. And he wrote me a good description of where to go, what to use, a couple cloud condition varieties that might have changed the color of the lure. And sure enough, Dad, it's huge, there's a fish on there. And then we're both reeling it in together, and I'm helping her because she doesn't it was so big I had to get the net. I mean, it was mind-blowing because she was like, Dad! I was like, it was pretty awesome. Without that tip, I don't have that memory with her. I don't have any. It wouldn't have happened.
If more people have access to better information, then fishing as a whole, the sport grows. The resource gets better protected, has more people, backing the sport. And then more experiences, better experiences are had by all when that's the case.
He's little, but he's a fish. Bo, what you think? Bo?
I can think back on some tournament days where I'm on nothing, I've got nothing, and I am figuring out nothing. And you're just going and going and grinding and grinding. But then you make one right decision. That's all it takes. You make one right decision to pick up that one clue you needed. And man, in those times, that's when you run through the brick wall.
That's a giant!
Yes! Oh my God, big long one, son!
My heart is pounding out of my chest. Go, bro! That's a biggie. Oh gosh, let's go!
had to have it, man.
You know, at the end of our lives, really the only things we have to hold on to are our relationships and our memories. They both can dwindle, so you know, you just try to make the most of opportunities and time you have now. Whether it's something funny, something crazy, something unique, whatever it is, you know, fishing is all about making memories, experiencing those things, getting outside and just being a part of something bigger than yourself.